All right, let's get started. Ilhan Omar has been voted off the Foreign Affairs Committee in, of course, an unsurprising yet still very frustrating GOP House decision. She withstands the most attacks. It was already wild that she was on the Foreign Affairs Committee. That was definitely a Nancy Pelosi thing for sure, in spite of like all of Nancy Pelosi's like awful shortcomings and being a horrible monster in general. That was definitely something that she allowed the squad to do, especially as a green representative, right? Now, AOC popped off. I know we're going to get to that in a second, but here are some of the more details.
This debate today, it's about who gets...
I mean, this shit is so... yeah, Black History Month started off strong, folks. Started off very, very strong, you know? Fucking assholes.
It's to be an American. What opinions do we have to have to be counted as Americans? This is what this debate is about, Madam Speaker. There is this idea that you are a suspect if you are an immigrant, or if you are from certain parts of the world, or a certain skin tone, or a Muslim. It is no accident that members of the Republican Party accused the first Black president, Barack Obama, of being a secret Muslim. It is no accident that former President Donald Trump led a birther movement that falsely claimed he was born in Kenya. Because to them, falsely labeling the first and only president of the United States of America a Muslim and African immigrant somehow made him less American. Well, I am Muslim. I am an immigrant, and interestingly, from Africa. Is anyone surprised that I am being targeted? Is anyone surprised that I am somehow deemed unworthy?
By the way, I mean, she has to like hold firmly because the Democratic caucus is, supposed to defend her in this circumstance. But make no mistake, okay? The Democratic Party has routinely fucking attacked Ilhan Omar just as much as the Republicans have, okay? They are just as fucking awful as the Republicans are. Holy shit. They used to constantly throw her under the bus. They absolutely, at a time when like Donald Trump was basically showing her face on Jumbotrons and on motherfucking rallies where they were like calling for her head, the Democratic Party regularly fed into that mania and said that she was anti-Semitic and she didn't actually deserve her committee positions either. Okay? So remember that. Ilhan Omar, straight up, is the bravest member of Congress. I've said this before. Her and Rashida Tlaib especially as well. These people are getting attacked regularly by their own allies. Ilhan Omar, as a refugee that came to this fucking country, as a Muslim woman who wears the hijab, and as a progressive, has been called insane shit. Like, Tucker Carlson afforded time on the most popular news broadcast to this incredibly insane theory that she had married her brother. Like, I cannot understand how that is allowed in allowed in any country in general. And of course, the new Democratic leader is not going to stand up. Hakeem Jeffries is not going to stand up, in my opinion, for Ilhan Omar. Jeffries on GOP effort to remove Ilhan Omar from foreign affairs. Representative Omar has made mistakes. She has used anti-Semitic tropes that were clearly unequivocally condemned by House Democrats when it took place 4 years ago. But what is going to take place on the floor today is not a public policy debate. It's not about accountability. It's about political revenge. Told you. Hakeem Jeffries is Hakeem Jeffries is aligned with the Republicans when it comes to this issue. He hates the Progressive Caucus. Like, he has a personal vendetta against the progressives. Okay? This is why I said Hakeem Jeffries is going to be fucking awful. And also on top of that, he is one of the most like pro unconditional support to Israel congresspersons out there. The House just voted to remove Ilhan Omar from a committee over her criticism of the pro-Israel lobby that at a time when Israel has completely ramped up its attacks on Palestinians and killed more than 30 people already this year. And the Democrats paved the fucking way. Make no mistake. You think the Democrats are not on board with this shit? You're wrong, okay? For the chatters who are trying to say don't need people who are using anti-Semitic tropes on the Foreign Affairs Committee, you're delusional, okay? Saying that AIPAC lobby has a stranglehold grip on the United States Congress and congressional members is a factually accurate statement, okay? You are out of your fucking mind. It is literally a lobby, a very reputable and very powerful lobby, as a matter of fact. AIPAC has cut legislation in states where peacefully protesting Israel is illegal for public officials. That is completely against the First Amendment, like open and shut. This is not a conversation. And it's not just me saying that, Hassan saying that. It's not Ilhan Omar saying that. It's motherfucking Dianne Feinstein and Bernie Sanders saying that. Dianne Feinstein is like 700 years old. And even she recognizes this reality. Okay? You cannot participate in boycotting, divesting, and asking for sanctions on the apartheid state of Israel in the United States of America if you want to be a public school teacher in the state of Texas and 35 other states. If I'm not mistaken, I think the number is 35. That is literally just anti-First Amendment. Hasanabi and Kanye West collaboration when? You are a pathetic piece of shit. Are you Muslim? Hassan and Kanye collab when? You are a disgusting, pathetic little vermin. How dare you? I get death threats from Nazis every fucking day. Okay? How fucking dare you, you fucking scumbag, to make a comparison to someone who's like promoting Nazi ideology. You fucking piece of shit. Fuck you. I know your life is fucking miserable. Fucking worm. You already got permid. Scumbags, dude. Fucking scumbags. Jeffrey's offering extensive defense of Omar. What a great defense. Is Ilhan Omar perfect? No, none of us are. We've all fallen short. As that Omar spent several years working to build bridges, make amends. I asked Jeffries about tapping Del Stacey Plaskett as a ranking Dem on the weaponization panel. He says Plaskett distinguished herself as a Trump impeachment manager. Even when he's like defending her, he's like, oh, she's clearly made some mistakes. Like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
To speak about American foreign policy, or that they...
Ilhan Omar is one of the fucking only voices. And even then, it's not like she's always critically... it's not like she's always unconditionally against the military-industrial complex, you know. But as far as congressional members goes, yeah, how dare anyone admit imperfection? There's a difference. There's a difference between literally offering credence and validity to the claims being made to unseat your party's own member from the Foreign Affairs panel and just admitting imperfection. You either are too stupid to recognize that, or you right now are doing the exact same like, oh, baby shit thing. Just say it with your fucking chest. Say that you think Ilhan Omar is anti-Semitic and that's why she doesn't deserve to be on the Foreign Affairs panel. Why are you so afraid in this community to fucking mention it? Are you worried you're going to get banned? That's crazy. It's crazy that calling out a religion on stuff they obviously got wrong is somehow anti that religion. Wait, what are you talking about? Criticism of the Israeli state is not a criticism of Judaism. Stop giving in to fascist Zionist propaganda. When you make an acknowledgement that Judaism represents Israel and Israel represents Judaism and the entire Jewish population around the planet, you are doing Bibi Netanyahu's bidding. Okay? That's not true. That is also anti-Semitic inherently. Of course, it's anti-Semitic if I say it. It's anti-Semitic if someone who is against the state of Israel says it. But it's completely not anti-Semitic when Bibi Netanyahu says it. Okay? I've never done Holocaust revisionism. He has. Yeah, the biggest L Israel ever took was allowing someone from Philadelphia to become their fucking leader, okay? Remember that. That's true. Benjamin Netanyahu is from Philadelphia. For those of you who don't know, he went to school in Philly. Yeah.
They see me as a powerful voice that needs to be silenced. Frankly, it is expected, because when you push power, power pushes back. Representation matters. Continuing to expand our ideas of who is American and who can partake in the American experiment is a good thing. I am an American who was sent here, by her constituents to represent them in Congress. A refugee who's...
The irony, of course, is that like Marjorie Taylor Greene way more recently said actually anti-Semitic shit, like Jewish space lasers caused the California wildfires. And because she's fucking Kevin McCarthy and, of course, a Republican, more importantly than that, she gets to sit on committees, which is wild, okay?
Survived the horrors of a civil war. Someone who spent her childhood in a refugee camp. Someone who knows what it means to have a shot at a better life here in the United States, and someone who believes in the American dream and the American possibility and the promise and the ability to participate in the democratic process. That is what this debate is about. There is an idea out there that I do not have objective decision making because of who I am, where I come from, and my perspective. But I reject that. We say there is nothing objective about policymaking. We all inject our perspective, our point of views, our lived experiences, and the
I hate Marjorie Taylor Greene too, but isn't it a bit misogynistic to say she's fucking McCarthy? No. You know why? Because it's true. And also, it's not even about Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's more of a stain. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene has leveled up in that situation. That's a benefit for her. It's more of a stain on Kevin McCarthy's otherwise, I guess, stainless reputation. That's not even true. That's why there's a reason why I say they're fucking. It's because Kevin McCarthy has had extramarital affairs with other Republican congresspersons before.
the voices of our consumers.
Oh, I also now think he's fucking Kristen Sinema too. I think Kevin McCarthy might be, and I can't believe I'm using this term, the most rizzed up congressperson.
Constituents. That's what democracy is about. So, what is the work of the Foreign Affairs Committee? It is not to co-sign the stated foreign policy of whatever administration is in power. It's about oversight. It's to critique and to advocate for a better path forward. But most importantly, it is to make the myth that American foreign policy is intrinsically moral a reality. So I will continue to speak up because representation matters. I will continue to speak up for little kids who wonder who's speaking up for them. I will continue to speak up for families around the world who are seeking justice, whether they are displaced in refugee camps or they are hiding under their beds somewhere like I was, waiting for the bullets to stop. Because this child, survivor of war, would have wanted that. The 9-year-old me would be disappointed if I didn't talk about the victims of conflict, those that are experiencing unjust wars, atrocities, ethnic cleansing, occupation, or displacement like I did. They are looking to the international community and the United States, asking for help. They look to us because the international community and the United States profess the values of protecting human rights and upholding international law. So we owe it to them not to make this a myth, but a reality. I didn't come to Congress to be silent. I came to Congress to be their voice. And my leadership and voice will not be diminished if I am not on this committee for one term. My voice will get louder and stronger, and my leadership will be celebrated around the world as it has been. So take your vote or not. I am here to stay, and I am here to be a voice against harms around the world and advocate for a better world. I yield back.
Ilhan Omar speaking a fiery address.
Sorry, I was tweeting. I said bro, Congress people see your tweets. Yeah, I want them to. I said, you're having sex with Marjorie Taylor Greene and gave her committee positions after she said Jewish space leaders are responsible for wildfires. Shut your bitch ass up, you ghoul. This is what Twitter is for, dude. What do you mean? You can't. It's a perfect tweet. I see nothing wrong with this tweet. It's absolute fire, and it's true. So, and it needed to be said. If you can't bully Congress people, what the fuck can you do in this day and age? God damn it. One thing about Hasanabi is that he will speak real. Yes. Anyway. Yeah, we're going to talk about the anti-socialism vote in a second.
That's a defiant speech on the floor of the House of Representatives. The Republican-led House is about to vote to kick her off the House Foreign Affairs Committee. She says it is retribution. She says it is unfair. She says it is un-American. But she says it is no surprise to her, tracing Donald Trump's support of the birther movement, the Republicans who said Barack Obama, as president, was secretly a Muslim. Let's get to our chief congressional correspondent, Mano Raju. Mano, this vote, you just heard the defiance from Congressman Omar. The vote that will take place in moments is a key test of the new Speaker, Kevin McCarthy. He has a very narrow majority, and many of his members are a little squishy about this.
Yeah, no question about it. He can only lose 4 Republican votes in order to allow this to succeed, to kick her off of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. And he has been moving behind the scenes over the last several days to shore up concerns about this tit-for-tat that has occurred after Democrats moved 2 Republicans off of their committee assignments last Congress. McCarthy vowing there was some retribution of sorts for Ilhan Omar ever since that happened here. And a lot of Republicans agreeing with them, but some concerned about it. But behind the scenes, McCarthy has locked up the votes. He has indicated that he has made sure that his members are in line. Just moments ago, Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who is one who had said that she would oppose this because of her concern about the precedent this would set by kicking off another member of the committee, expanding the precedent from the last Congress. She said she's actually going to vote for this because she got an agreement from the Speaker to figure out a new process going forward to allow members to appeal any effort to try to kick them off of the committee. There's going to be some language change to the resolution here.
Thank you. Now,
here's AOC's defense of Ilhan Omar on the House floor, by the way. Shit, you were right. I told you, yes, he's moved on from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Kirsten Sinema. Okay? He is the Rizzler, low key, or high key, I guess. Unfortunately, the truth. Mitt Romney's going to be pissed. Yeah, Mitt Romney's going to have some words with him. Oh, fuck. I'm pausing on this so you guys, really let it in. Really understand what's going on. Jared Moskowitz, freshman Democrat congressman who voted against removing Omar from Foreign Affairs, says, make no mistake about it, my vote was not a vote in support of Congressman Omar. Someone with a record of hateful comments does not belong on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. My vote was a vote to protect the institution for democracy and for preventing the weaponization of committee selection. When anti-Semitism arises in the halls of Congress, you will find me on the House floor calling out any members who display rabid anti-Semitism. I'm not, dude, I don't know what to say. I don't want to say things about congresspersons that shit on Ilhan Omar and say that she's like a rabid anti-Semite. Not because I'll get banned immediately for a clear violation of terms of service, but I might get a call from Secret Service. Like the things I want to say about what I would like to do would probably have the Secret Service knocking down my door. You know what I mean? Like, I think these people don't deserve the seats that they have, is all I'm going to say. Okay? And no, saying it in Minecraft is not going to change that. Okay? You can't actually say that in Minecraft or in a video game. I think they know that that's like a secret way of saying what you mean. Yeah, they patched it.
As a fellow New Yorker, I think one of the things that we should talk about here is also one of the disgusting legacies after 9/11 has been the targeting and racism against Muslim Americans throughout the United States of America. And this is an extension of that legacy. Consistency, there is nothing consistent with the Republican Party's continued attack except for the racism and incitement of violence against women of color in this body. I had a member of the Republican caucus threaten my life, and you all and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments in this Congress. Don't tell me this is about consistency. Don't tell me that this is about a condemnation of anti-Semitic remarks when you have a member of the Republican caucus who has talked about Jewish space lasers and an entire amount of tropes and also elevated her to some of the highest committee assignments in this body. This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened. Thank you.
They're so stupid that they can't separate anti-Zionism from anti-Semitism. My friend, it's not stupidity. It's malicious. Understand that that is deliberate. That is by design. That is what the Anti-Defamation League does as well. It's on purpose. There is an active whitewashing operation of the Israeli state's crimes. It is an apartheid state, and it engages in human rights violations daily. Okay? If you're comparing this to like your dad, you said, oh, well, some of it's stupidity. That's how it is for my dad. Yeah, of course. But these are people with institutional power. They're not behaving in the way that they are because they're like confused. Oh, duh, I didn't understand it. They're doing it deliberately. They know better. They just are a part of the machine.
I yield 1 minute to the gentlewoman from Michigan, Representative Tlaib.
The gentlewoman from Michigan is recognized for 1 minute.
Desperation. So desperate to distract the American people from their total inability to govern. The GOP is now.
Sure, AOC cares about resisting the DNC neoliberal class like she cares about defending her coworker. Dude, you popped off. You're right. AOC should be actually creating an armed rebellion with all the Discord server members that you have. You and the fucking kitty litter Discord is going to rise up in arms and fucking execute Nancy Pelosi, actually. So you guys are right there, dude. Yeah, average ultra leftist sitting in a Twitch chat. Exactly. Thank you for all your organizational efforts in building the violent vanguard. That definitely happened. So that's sick, man. Thank you. Like I regularly criticize AOC and every other Congress member, every other progressive member of the squad when they do things that are worthy of criticism. It's kind of dumb to fucking do that in this circumstance. Like, I got it, dude. You just don't care, okay? You don't care about anything. You just care about like how you look in the chat. Like how many military bases have you overtaken with a violent peasants rebellion? That you're out here fucking talking shit, you know what I mean? What have you done? You've done nothing. Shut the fuck up. Like, here, you know what? It's worse actually. Someone just said leftists who constantly shit on AOC and act like there's a violent revolution that is around the corner are worse than the 3%ers or just like the 3%ers. No, they're worse than the 3%ers because America and other Western nations under neoliberal hegemony have a way higher likelihood of organizing fascist movements. So those guys actually do have structural power. Those guys actually do have the capacity to potentially create a fascist country. Okay? 3%ers have institutional support. They have members in the military. They have members in the police force. They have congressional members that listen to them, that abide by their wishes. But most importantly, they are just there to reinforce pre-existing oppressive hierarchies. Okay? So it's infinitely easier for them to organize and even act out on their violent desires without any kind of institutional scrutiny because they're going along with the system. The system does not want to defend trans people, gay people, black people, poor people. The system wants to cause them harm. So when you are on board with that and you're just saying like, I want to sidestep the government and do more of what the government is doing, you can organize and do violent shit. So they are more likely to get their demands met. They're more likely to actually organize successfully. I mean, look at January 6th and its impact. Look at January 6th and its fucking outcome. Meanwhile, you're fucking freaking out at like 4, 5 people that are trying to make the most of the fraction of power and I guess like proximity to institutional power that they have. In a moment where their cause is righteous and their cause is just. Okay? Bro just took my take like that. We literally had January 6th happen. Bro, you think this is your take? Like, you think you copyrighted this take? Come on. Chill out. I've been saying this since January 6th and even before January 6th. At a certain point, you got to recognize that this is just a hive mind. Anyway. Did you see the report that said that FBI is working with the Proud Boys over Antifa? I didn't read it, but not surprising. I've been talking about it for fucking years. They were doing it. Local police departments have been doing it for years, especially in Portland.
Now doing what it is best at, weaponizing hate against a black, beautiful Muslim woman. Congresswoman Omar's lived experience as a refugee and a child.
Yeah, Ilhan is literally being thrown off committees because she was against U.S. policy and like critical of Israel. Exactly. And also because it's like, you know, it's a fun way to put a black Muslim woman down. That is like super socially acceptable by liberals and Republicans alike. And every single member of the media that goes, wow, I can't believe the Republicans did this, are also doing it while they played a role in this shit too. They played a role in her demise. Every time she gets a fucking new death threat in her voicemail, the media is complicit in that violence. Okay? They too portrayed her like this demon, this anti-Semite, you know? Fucking bullshit. It's so disgusting.
A survivor of war should be welcomed on this committee. It is needed. When you can't pass any bills that actually improve the people's lives, they turn to Congress. They turn Congress into a place of fear-mongering hate. It is so painful to watch. How ironic that the so-called lovers of personal freedom are now moving to censor Congresswoman Omar in the same week they introduced a bill to ban federal employees from engaging in censorship. Where are the free speech warriors today? The hypocrisy is obvious to the American people. You are showing who you all are, really.
The gentlewoman's time has expired.
Omar will not be silenced.
The gentlewoman's time has expired.
To Congressman Omar, I am so sorry,
has expired.
that our country is failing you today through this chamber. You belong
The gentlewoman
in that
is no
committee.
longer recognized.
Demanding to It's unsurprising that a country that has 35 states were criticizing demanding the boycott or sanction Israel for its apartheid. In 35. Sorry, I have to write this real quick here while this plays.
We have breaking news from the House floor. The House Foreign Affairs Committee. Republicans have just booted. They have voted to kick out Representative Ilhan Omar from that House Foreign Affairs Committee. 218 votes to 211. The vote removing her, and you have what reaction?
I've known this was coming for 2 years. The minute that the Democrats did this, and also here's an interesting, they've been saying that there was a difference in how they did this and how the Democrats did it. There was not. Last year, the Democrats, especially in like Marjorie Taylor Greene's case, was holding her accountable for something before she's ever a member of Congress. When you come into this Congress, Adam Schiff and...
Yeah, there's a difference. Ilhan Omar saying that the AIPAC lobby is incredibly powerful and influential is not anti-Semitic. It's just true. Marjorie Taylor Greene saying Jewish space lasers fucking caused the wildfires in California is anti-Semitic and psychotic on top of that. Like, even if it wasn't anti-Semitic, even if she said just non-denominational space lasers actually caused California wildfires, that should be enough that you should be like, oh, okay, you're like schizophrenic. I'm sorry. You are now disqualified from being a representative. You know what I mean? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, even that statement alone, without the classic, like, Jews are controlling everything spice that you add on top of it, should be enough for Marjorie Taylor Greene to be removed from fucking literal committee positions. Okay, yeah, secular space lasers. Okay, got it.
Eric Swalwell had plenty of reasons not to be let on to the Intelligence Committee, and especially Eric, Adam Schiff, who was leaking everything from there, and that was a whole problem. But then with Omar as well, this was stuff that she did while she was a member of the body, while in
committee meetings, according to Representative Maliatekis.
Very much so. And so I think this is again what you get when you get into the point, and many of us said this last year, the Democrats want to go down this line, this is what's going to happen. I sort of relate it back to playing baseball when I was younger, and you get up and a pitcher hits the batter, get ready. If you come back, don't want to be the first up the next inning because somebody's going to get hit, because this is where we've divulged to right now.
Tammy, is this good for the system?
Absolutely. Part of what happens in Congress, of course, signals to the American people about what's acceptable and what we're going to embrace and what represents the country. And her rhetoric and her attitude toward the Jewish people in particular has been obscene and unacceptable. It is something that we've seen evolve in the country by a very few vocal, marginalized people regarding Jew hatred and attacks on Jews. So this is important when we're looking at unity and what America stands for. This is a statement. This is what Americans are looking for. She's still in Congress. She was voted in. She's going to have an influence. But it's interesting of how important that particular panel was for her and what it means to these individuals to have that kind of control and influence. Another reason to look seriously at why was it so important. And now, of course, the body has spoken. And this is going to be good for America. It certainly reflects what we stand for as a nation.
So, Kennedy, what does the future look like when each party is going to come in and kick out people? And by the way, Jason Chaffetz, former chairman of Oversight, had said Intel is different. I mean, that's a national security situation where you've got Adam Schiff leaking. And there have been plenty of people now that we've heard that he was. But when you look at this, should there be concern that when Democrats are back in the majority, it just is like they started the party and it just keeps going?
Yeah, it's a seesaw, and it can get very, very distracting. I don't think it's going to end here. I think there will be retribution when Democrats take back the majority again. And they just have to be very careful that they're not taking their eye off the people's business, which is, you know, economic health in this country. And people are still very worried about inflation and a potential looming recession. So if you are just playing one-upsmanship the entire time.
Like, even the supposedly liberal take on the panel is that just like, oh, this is just a distraction. You know what I mean? I'm reserving myself well because I've talked about this so many times. This is an uphill battle that will never be won, okay? It doesn't seem likely. I've had this conversation so many times over for years and years and years and years. So it's just not, it's not news.
40% of Gen Z and millennials think the Communist Manifesto, written by Karl Marx, the father of Marxism, is a better defense of freedom and equality than the Declaration of Independence.
I mean, it's true. The Declaration of Independence, what do you mean? Black people were enslaved. This country is built on enslaving black people. It is not even an argument to say that, like, all people deserve emancipation, including literal fucking slaves in chains and also wage slavery as well. So yeah, that is actually true. That is a true statement. It's 100% true. Also, like, you're a woman. Like, you were not even in the... You weren't even in consideration when they were, you know, thinking about how to manage this government. Like, what the fuck kind of take is this, dumbass? Why'd you say it like that? You know why I said it like that. How does Fox get to legally even call themselves a news channel? They don't. I can't even write anymore. What the fuck? What am I saying? She talking about the manifesto or Das Kapital?
The Communist Manifesto.
Banger tweets tonight. It's middle of the day for me, but Yeah, I got a lot of heat. He's saying she's a woman because women didn't have rights. Everything was run by men when the Declaration of Independence was written. Hasanabi is saying she has no idea what the fuck she's even saying. Yeah, exactly. Fixed your tweet. Capitalism is exploitation. Okay, good one. I mean, yeah, I know. Wait, she interviewed Pinochet? No way. To interview Pinochet, Salazar pressed him and his family for years, even sneaking into Pinochet's house in London with his grandson when he was under house arrest there in 1999 on human rights charges. Back then, she was a top anchor woman for Telemundo. She took pictures of Pinochet then, but Scotland Yard refused her to let her take a video camera into the house, so she settled for just meeting him. She called members of Pinochet's family frequently until 2003, when they finally agreed to let her interview him in Santiago. The biggest reason Pinochet granted Salazar the interview, she said, is that she is a Cuban American from Miami, and Pinochet believes that the Cuban exile community is one of the few groups across Latin America that understood his role in preventing Chile from becoming another Cuba. That's one of the main reasons they had agreed to give the interview, not because I'm special, she said. Love that. Yeah, Castro's the real dictator. Batista is good. Castro's the real dictator. Pinochet, not a dictator. Oh. Did you just ask how was Pinochet not killed? Well, let's take a look. Hold on. Let me just look at something. How was Pinochet not killed? Also, I love that this title has Assad on it. Like, that's the first photo. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, this doesn't even have Pinochet in it? Wait, what? Oh my God. I mean, this is one of them. I mean, here, you want to know why Pinochet wasn't murdered? There you go. Didn't the Queen also meet Pinochet? Am I crazy? Like, and hang out with him? Pinochet, the friend of Britain who ruled his country by fear. Fear. How did he do the fear? Was he just like really rude? Is that why? Is that how he was able to be fearful? Is that how he was able to instill fear? How? Just by mean words? Is that what it is? Yeah, I know. I already talked about this. Yeah, that's the other one. Anyway. Yeah, he made them watch the scary alien isolation game. That's how he did it. That's how he ruled it. Anyway, there's too much to talk about. We're going to continue here with the Ilhan Omar stuff before we get to the communism shit.
Then you are not serving your constituents.
But if you're
Yeah, he would take people up on helicopter rides and then say mean stuff to them in the helicopter.
if you're explaining
And
why,
then he would bring them back on the land.
though, right? Making it clear why versus Green and what she was doing before the Congress. Versus this kind of rhetoric
in committee,
and this is the body has to decide. and you make those good arguments, it will not be a tit for tat.
Well, and I think you're probably over it this time, but it goes back to something. The Democrats have a problem here, and this was the rhetoric coming from Omar and many others. We actually had a vote on the floor that they brought to censor this, and they watered it down. It took hours to do this, and then it was just basically, if you talk bad about everything, we're going to censor you.
I remember that.
I was on the floor having to debate this, and it was just like, you can't come to the fact that anti-Semitism is wrong, and this is what was said.
Right.
Yeah, but or that you don't know what tropes are.
Exactly.
Well, and that's part of the problem, because Ilhan Omar was on an interview, I think MSNBC, and hers was the victimization of there's a conspiracy out to get me, that she didn't understand what the tropes are. And in the same breath says that she has been leading on this issue of anti-Semitism. In a different interview, she said this, for years. If you don't know what it is, how are you possibly leading on it?
The bottom line.
For the record, yes, saying Jewish space lasers are better than calling out Zionism. Because, like, Jewish space lasers are laughable, okay? Whereas calling out Zionist activity or the apartheid state of Israel is going to end up changing people's minds. Most people aren't going to think that, like, Jewish people actually have fucking space lasers. They're like, okay, you know, I'm anti-Semitic, but normal anti-Semitic. That shit even sounds crazy to me, okay? Yeah, it's a trope. It's ridiculous. It's anti-Semitic. Make no mistake. But the other is real, okay? The other thing is a real, valid criticism.
There's no doubt.
Well, you know what? I'll watch this breakthrough news video.
Line is that her statements and her positions she has publicly taken while in committee are patently unacceptable, and they are antithetical to our Constitution and the embracing of diversity and our allies international in this country. So the fact that she has been not only apologized for and propped up and encouraged by members of the body as well as those in her constituency, that's appalling. What we are seeing today, that's accountability. So you're absolutely right. What the GOP needs to do is underscore over and over and over again exactly why she was removed, to combat her inevitable knee-jerk, oh, it's because I'm this. No, it's not. It's because of your statements and your positions. Unacceptable.
Well, and Jason Chaffetz said, look, the minority had an opportunity to take care of this on their own. They didn't.
Yep, they failed. Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany.
Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders may hate capitalism, but that has not stopped him from...
I feel like this is mathematically created to give me a brain aneurysm, dude. If I watch this, we're not done with the Ilhan Omar stuff, by the way. Here, let's take a look at this. This is one death threat that she has received. One example.
Nazi, you fucking cunt. I'll put a bullet in your fucking head and get the fuck out of my country, you cocksucking bitch. I'll fucking kill you.
To review, press 0. To reply, press 1. For the time.
This is one example of a death threat that came into my office this week. These threats increase whenever Republicans put a target on my back. They continue to target me, but they will never stop me from fighting a more just world. By the way, as horrific as this is to listen to, I share it because the Republican Party and the public need to know that there is a very... By the way, Democrats play a role in this too. Sorry. Definitely the fucking truth. Yeah, this is what Pelosi and the rest of the congressional leaders published after Ilhan's "It's All About the Benjamins" tweet. Ilhan Omar said that money from the Israeli lobby, AIPAC, is one of the main motivators as to why there is such a stranglehold in this fucking country where, remember, 35 states have a clear violation of the First Amendment where you can't protest the state of Israel and you have to sign a paper. Like if you want to be a teacher in the state of Texas, you got to sign a paper that says you will promise to never protest the state of Israel. This is a real thing in this fucking country. And not a single one of these cock-sucking First Amendment defenders that literally lose their fucking shit on their podcast circuits ever talks about it. That's a real fucking First Amendment violation. Even you said that she shouldn't have said it in those words, though. No, not about the Benjamin shit. I don't give a fuck about the Benjamin shit. It was the other thing. The hypnotize statement from like many, many years ago is what I referenced. Anyway. Fuck, man.